The Nez Perce are one of the last groups of Native Americans to be rounded up and corralled onto reservations. After the Native Americans were put on reservations, the goal of the U.S. government was to assimilate Native Americans. Assimilation is the process of being absorbed into the main culture of a society. So you adopt their traditions, their way of dress, and a lot of aspects of their culture. The Dawes Act of 1887 gave 160 acres to each Native American family. Most of the land was eventually taken, and this was part of the attempt to Americanize Native Americans. Some Americans support the idea of assimilation. Native Americans, they feel that Native Americans should give up their way of life and become part of white culture. Others object. Helen Hunt Jackson wrote A Century of Dishonor, which was basically an expose of broken treaties between the United States government and Native Americans. This picture shows how Native Americans were gradually assimilated. This is a group of women who've obviously adopted Western styles of dress. And this is a poem that was written by a Native American about assimilation. It goes, "They came in limitless numbers, took without asking, ignorant of us, justified with a cause to save our people. What needed saving was what was trying to save us. Liars, thieves, incapable of trust, the white ways trampled our graves and took our lives from us. The ways of our people now replaced with theirs. Is this necessary? They say they must. We cannot fight back, caught in a white man's trap. Now the end has come, a new sun has risen upon us. What's done is done, now in limited numbers, placed on reservations without much of a fuss." Assimilation means the end of the Indian lifestyle. Assimilation, education is more like education of white Americans. Often they're sent off to boarding schools. There's also the destruction of the buffalo, which of course is a key part of Native American culture. They're afflicted with disease that come from white settlers and many other influences and negative effects. As part of an effort to revive the Sioux way of life, the ghost dance movement begins. And this is a spiritual dance that they believed would bring back the land and the way of life of the Sioux. It was outlawed by the U.S. government because it was seen as a threat to white settlers. The Battle of Wounded Knee marks the end of the Indian Wars, and this is the massacre of several hundred Sioux. In this case, the Sioux were rounded up. They were trying to corral them onto reservations, and this was a group that had been running. They were starving and cold. The government, U.S. government troops demanded their weapons, and in the process of holding the Native Americans, a shot was fired. And they don't know from where or from what side the shot came from, but the U.S. soldiers opened fire on the Native Americans, and within minutes, over 300 men, women, and children had been slaughtered. This event marked the end of the era of Indian Wars. This is a picture of what was left after Wounded Knee, and you can see the bodies of many people in this very stark region. So that is the end of our presentation on the Plains Indians, and also the end of Goal 4. Looking forward to seeing you in class.